time is a little different. He says, Father, if it cannot pass, then would your will be done? Goes back, sees him sleeping, comes back, prays again. Then finally goes, okay, it's happened. Right after this, Judas comes around the corner. Right after this, the army's coming to take him. And he says to them, friend, do what you come to do. Now, this part is crazy because the dude who was just sleeping, who couldn't bring himself to pray, all of a sudden whips out a sword and is ready to fight. He's like, what? I'm saying, like, can you pray for me? He's like, I'm fighting for you, Jesus. Again, it's kind of like, what can I bring to the table? He wasn't going to pray, but man, I can fight. Jesus is like, no, put your sword away. He's like, I didn't need that. I need you to pray. He said, put your sword away. That's not what we're here to do. And then I love what Jesus says to Peter. Put your sword in its place. For those who take the sword will perish with the sword. Do you think, I love this, do you think that I could not appeal to my Father and he would at once send more than 12 legions of angels? But then how would the scripture be fulfilled? Now, I love that. Because when I first read it, y'all, I like to read the Bible and be like, wait a second, what? Because he actually did just appeal to his Father, right? And now he's saying, do you not know that if I really asked my Father to save me, he would send 12 legions of angels right now and this would all be over? But I'm like, didn't you just ask? But then if you read it back, he didn't really just ask that. He said, if at all possible. But if not, would your will be done? And then the second time, he said, okay, if this cannot pass, then would your will be done? And then the third time, I don't know what he prayed, but he came back and he said, go ahead and sleep. Almost as if that took care, okay, this is your will and it will be done. And then when Peter tries to fight it, he says, do you not know that my God would have sent 12 legions of angels? So here in this moment, as he's standing in a moment that's not what he wants to have to go through, not what he wants to have to endure, the worst possible scenario, honestly, for a human to have to step into, he is not questioning the love and the capability of the Father. Now that is extremely powerful because it's in those moments that we say, God, did you not hear me? God, are you not here? God, are you not capable? And sometimes I even think that we're afraid to pray big prayers like save us from this because we're afraid, what if God doesn't do it and then God looks bad? But Jesus in front of his friend is saying, God is more than capable. But God's up to something bigger than what we can see in this moment. And man, was he. Was he right? You see, prayer, we don't pray to get the answers that we want. That's not why we need to be praying. We need to be praying because of the relationship with God that we desperately need. It's not always going to result in the answers you want, but it will always result in the relationship that you need. You see, let me finish the story with that little girl. Up to this point, I saw her father about a month ago, and I hadn't heard much of an update. And so I said, how's everything going since, we were praying for, that Tuesday scan. And he said, Sadie, you would not believe it. He said, miracle, power of prayer. Friday, we get a text from the doctor saying, cancer's back, expect the worst. Tuesday's going to be a tough day. That's why we asked you to pray. Come Tuesday, did every single scan, every single test. There is no cancer in her body. Power of prayer. Now let me tell you the other side of that. Where did I see her father? I saw her father at a funeral that I was attending for a 1.5-year-old little boy who had a heart defect. And that's my friend's little boy, who I was also praying for, who our community was also praying for.